Hi, my name is Parth Gupta. I'm the co-executive director of Windsor Forward. Today I'm here with the current mayor and mayoral candidate Hemant Marathe for our 2025 election interview series. Today is October 12th, 2025, and Mayor, we're going to begin with a 2-minute opening statement, so you can begin when you're ready.
Parth, again, thank you for having me. Thank you for starting this initiative. I wish we had a debate, but we are where we are now. So, again, I'm Hemant Marathe. I've stayed in West Windsor for the last 31 years. I always say that's half my life. The current house we occupy is one place on earth I've lived the longest. I left India when I was 22 years old. So, for all practical purposes, West Windsor is my home, and I would like to do whatever is the best for the home. I have a long history of service to the community. I started as a school board member in 2001, got elected as president of the school board in 2004, and then served as the president for the next 9 years. Then I became a council member in West Windsor in 2015, and then became mayor of West Windsor in 2017 for the last 8 years. I've always believed in community service. Even as a college at my dorm, I served in various capacities. When we moved here, my daughter was 4 years old. So I first got involved in school board as a member of PTA. When I thought I can contribute as a school board member, I first ran as a school board member. So everything I've done over the last 31 years in West Windsor is with the purpose of serving the community well. And I've always done what's best for the community. Sometimes those are hard decisions, but that's how the community becomes better, by making the harder choices. Because as an elected official, you are forced to make a choice. So that's the.
How would you describe the role of a mayor, and what does the position of mayor mean to you personally? Why do you believe you are the best qualified candidate to lead West Windsor? 2 minutes.
Thank you very much. Again, role of the mayor. Mayor is the face of the township. Mayor decides a lot of things that happen in the town. Mayor sets the tone for the conversation in the town. So the role of mayor is just like the role of a governor in the state, or role of president in the country. It's a very important role, and I have tried to fulfill it as best as I can. Can you repeat the whole question? So. Yeah. How do you describe the role of a mayor, and what does the position of mayor mean to you personally? Why do you believe you're the best qualified candidate to lead West? So I've always told people that during election season, people can make whatever promises they want. They can criticize their thing, but you judge me based on my record. They don't have to depend on what I say during the 4 weeks or 6 weeks of political campaign. I have had 25-year record in township, both as a school board member, school board president, council member, and the mayor. And my record reflects that I've always done what is best for township, and I've made hard decisions, sometimes unpopular hard decisions, but those decisions have set West Windsor forward. I'm very proud of what role I played as the school district was growing from roughly 4,000 or 5,000 kids to 9,900 kids when I left the school district. We still maintained the quality, kept the taxes low, and similarly, I'm very proud of my role as the mayor. We have kept taxes flat for the last 8 years. At the same time, managed the development well. In my very early years, we got hit by COVID, and I'm very proud of our performance in during those years as COVID. We got everybody vaccinated.
Looking back at the last 4 years, how would you assess the township's direction? What letter grade would you give the current administration's performance? Are there any successes or missteps that justify that grade? 1 minute.
Again, I mean, it's like asking a kid to grade his own paper. I mean, I'm always going to say that the township is doing very well. We have done well in every count, and in a very very objective manner. If you look at from a third point of view, taxes are flat for the last four, in fact, last 8 years. I will talk for all 8 years because that's my record. The taxes have been flat for 8 years. We have been hit with several challenges. First challenge was the COVID. When COVID hit, nobody was prepared. Nobody was prepared for that. Our township handled it as well as any other township, not only in New Jersey but in the country. And then during the last 4 years, we are continuously hit with affordable housing, and then the housing that we are required to build. And I think we have handled it well. My administration has handled it really well.
West Windsor is incredibly fortunate to be consistently ranked as one of the best places to live, with strong schools and train access to New York. In your view, what are the top 3 core attributes that make our town appealing? And what do you see as the top 3 things that residents are most frustrated with? 2 minutes.
So I'm very proud of the role that I have played in making West Windsor one of the most desirable places to live. If you look at the last 4 years, two different magazines, Fortune magazine and Niche, ranked Princeton Junction, West Windsor as one of the best places to raise a family, not only in New Jersey but all throughout the US. And what is special about that is that we weren't auditioning for that. I mean, we didn't even know they were holding such ranking competition, so as to say. We were very pleasantly surprised that we were chosen as the best place to live, one of the best places to live by Fortune throughout the US and by Niche throughout New Jersey. And it doesn't happen by accident. West Windsor is a desirable place. I can say top three reasons is one, of course, is the school district. Our school district quality is very good. That attracts parents with kids to the school district. We have one of the busiest train stations in there, but more importantly, the family and friendly and community development, community kind of atmosphere that we have created. And I'm very proud of leading a dialogue where um, I'm able to talk to everyone, including my critics, and give everybody a space. So in that sense, West Windsor is a unique town in Mercer County where everybody, we don't elect leaders based on their political affiliation. We elect leaders based on their record and what they offer to the residents of West Windsor. So that makes West Windsor really unique.
Residents want to know how you'll address their concerns. What concerns/improvements would you prioritize in your first 100 days in office? What do you hope residents will be able to say you've done by April of next year? 2 minutes.
Okay, so as I go around town, knocking on doors for campaigning, the some of the concerns that have always come up is, of course, taxes. Taxes bother everyone. On the municipal side, we have done a wonderful job. I mean, nobody's on an average home. The tax on an average home has gone up by about $6 a year for the last 8 years, which is a fantastic performance. People want their sidewalks fixed, even though it's a homeowner's responsibility. It's the township has taken responsibility for fixing the sidewalks. People want more lighting. That's a change in attitude over the last 30 years. When we moved here, people didn't want light pollution. They said we moved from the city to the suburb because we don't want too much light. Now people are demanding that they need more lighting. They feel unsafe in the road. So we are focusing more on increasing the lighting around town. It's a process, and it takes a longer time. And then lastly, the road condition. All the roads are about 30 years old, so that's about the time life of the road. So we are spending roughly about $2 million every year to resurface the road, to make the roads. And every time we redo the road, we look at it from the point of view of, can we improve pedestrian and bicycle safety on that road? So automatically we kill two birds with one stone. We not only fix the road, but we also improve safety for bicycles and pedestrians. One of the issue a point I would like to make is that I don't treat first 100 days any differently as rest of the 4 years of my term. I always behave the same way throughout the 4 years. So I will continue to do that. I've done that for the last 25 years in town, and I will continue to do that for the next 4 years if elected on November 4th.
Looking long term now, what are your long term goals for the township, and what would success under your leadership look like for residents of West Windsor 2 and 4 years from now? 2 minutes.
Okay. So, in long-term goals is always to do whatever is best in West Windsor, how the West Windsor will look 4, 6, 10 years from now. I always say that 10 years from now, nobody is going to remember or know who the mayor of West Windsor was. But I would know in my heart that whatever happened in West Windsor is because of some action that I have taken. So I always focus on that, doing something that's best for West Windsor. It's also true that achieving long term goals is sometimes painful in the short term. And that's the hard decision that I've always made as the mayor. I've never made a decision based on politics or elections or what will hurt me or help me in next election. My every decision is based on what's best for West Windsor years from now, not necessarily what's best for me currently. So I do hope West Windsor keeps thriving in the next 4 years. And one of the things that we have been trying to attract that I've been unsuccessful in 8 years is to attract an indoor sports facility. There's a lot of demand for indoor soccer, pickleball, cricket, and other sports, and an indoor sports facility. We have talked to a few developers who were interested. We did get to first base, but not much beyond that. So that's one of the things that I'm hoping that I'll be able to attract during the next 4 years, at least get the process started so people can use indoor sports during the winter season when it's very difficult to play outside.
The most controversial topic recently in West Windsor has been the topic of warehouses, spurred by a boom in online shopping and development obligations. We wanted to get your brief recap of the timeline of the Howard Hughes site specifically and how we got to the current stage we are in now. 7 warehouses approved by the township awaiting county and state approval. We have 1 minute for this.
Okay, 1 minute is too short. To be very honest, you need 10 minutes for this question. So I'll keep talking. You take question time from other time. Okay, so one of the important thing people need to realize is that the state requires each township to build certain number of affordable housing. When I became mayor, we were just finishing the third round of affordable housing lawsuit. I learned as a council member, I wasn't a mayor, I was a council member. I realized that we have to start planning for the next round, which is the fourth round that starts in 2025. And unless I started planning then, we would be hit with another high number, which would mean we would have to build a lot of houses. Two of the builders, or one builder with two properties that was suing us, was owned the Howard Hughes property, which is a 685-acre, the largest undeveloped land between DC and Boston. And then the second one was the one across from McCaffrey's. If we had kept those lands unoccupied, we would be looking at 2,000 homes on the Howard Hughes property and roughly 585 apartments at the property across West Windsor. So I made the hard decision during COVID when warehouses were in fashion. I made the hard decision to approve that the builder can build warehouses, but there's a very strong provision in our lawsuit that the builder cannot sue us for building housing on those properties if we do give the approval for the warehouses. So that is an example of a hard decision that I made that hurt me politically in the short term, but is puts West Windsor in the driver's seat in the long term.
Considering that West Windsor residents move about the region and not just the township, how would your administration plan to address the community's concerns about the Bridgepoint 8 project? Considering potential negative impacts on traffic, infrastructure, and quality of life, and potential positive impacts like rateables. How can residents independently verify the data on things like rateables and traffic? 2 minutes.
Okay. So again, the data is very easy to verify. One of the things that people need to realize that it's not a choice between doing nothing and building warehouses. It's a choice between building warehouses or building 2,000 homes. If you build 2,000 homes, that's roughly 3,000 cars. All the cars from housing come in the township for sports, for visiting the grocery store, for visiting the churches and temples, whereas all the warehouse traffic is outbound. Both the warehouses are on the border, one in the border with Lawrenceville, one in the border with East Windsor. There's no reason for the trucks to come inside. It's just a election scare tactics to claim that the trucks will drive on the road. No truck driver wants to drive on a small street simply to annoy the mayor or annoy you. They get paid based on deliveries and they have a direct access to Route 1. So they can verify that. Currently, we have Lawrenceville Mall right across the street that gets a lot of truck traffic. We have Nassau Park Mall, we have Princeton Fair Mall. All those malls get a lot of truck traffic. How many of those trucks drive through West Windsor to get to those facilities? We are building right across from Quaker Ridge Mall. If the trucks going to Quaker Ridge Mall don't travel through West Windsor, why would the trucks going right across from Quaker Ridge Mall drive through West Windsor? Whereas those 3,000 cars would have driven directly through West Windsor coming in, Clarksville Road would have been a parking lot. And people need to realize that it's not a choice. The state would have forced us to build 2,000 homes under the fourth round of affordable housing if that land was available. And critics kept claiming that I was bluffing, but now I've been proven true because currently we are being sued by 5 developers saying that they need to build housing. And again, I would like to point out that Atlantic Realty is not one of them suing us because of the protection we build in our settlement with them, that they can't sue us for housing if we give them approval for warehouse.
Looking ahead to the future, what would your specific policy be regarding any new proposals for warehouse development in West Windsor?
Okay. How much minute? 1 minute. Okay. See, again, I have not heard any proposal for warehousing, and anybody who follows what's going on around state would realize that now nobody is going to approach me for building a warehouse since there are too many warehouses being built. So in a way, we were lucky when we struck a settlement with the landowner to allow them to build warehouses, because if we were talking to the landowner today, he would certainly be suing us for housing in this round of affordable housing development, not agreeing to build a warehouse there. So there's no proposal for building warehouses, and I don't see anybody coming in to build a warehouse. As I said, I'm trying to attract a sports facility, indoor sports facility to West Windsor, and people need to realize that most of those facilities or similar facilities are housed inside a warehouse. So if such an opportunity comes, I would welcome building a sports facility, but there's no plan to build any other warehouse anytime in near future.
For young residents, how do you assure that we can return to West Windsor after finishing our schooling and are able to afford a home here, while balancing the need to protect current residents' home values? 1 minute 30 seconds.
Okay, so again, it's a very difficult choice. I have 4 daughters, all working, 3 of them in New York City, one in LA, and I've been trying to get them to, at least the older one, to move to West Windsor. What we have to do is to make sure it still stays as a desirable place to raise family. People move here because once they have kids and they want to raise kids, they have to keep. So I will do everything in my power to keep it as one of the most desirable place to raise family, which means keeping your taxes low, keeping a friendly atmosphere and building a sense of community, and offering various facilities to kids and young families where they can enjoy a family time and family life. In that regard, we are attracting new small businesses, we are attracting new restaurants, we are building sports facilities, and we are making sure that the taxes are as low as we possibly can.
On that point, as you know, property taxes are top of mind for most residents. What is your specific plan for the municipal portion of the tax rate, and how would you fund services and infrastructure improvements with or without raising it? 1 minute 30 seconds.
Okay. Again, if you look at your municipal taxes, you will realize that your municipal taxes haven't increased at all in last 8 years. Probably $8 to $10 a year, which is 2.7% increase cumulatively over a 8 year period, which is a fantastic performance. At the same time, we are a full service community. We have not cut any services during those 8 years. We don't have to pay separately for garbage pickup. We don't have to pay separately for fire protection. It's all included in one tax bill that you do. Most people don't realize that taxes have not stayed flat simply because their school and county taxes are going up, and by law the township is required to collect those taxes and pass them through. So we will continue to do what we are doing while keeping the taxes flat. At the same time, we have built a cushion in surplus, that our surplus went from $900,000 when I became mayor currently to about $10 million. That's because of a very prudent financial management, and we will continue to do that. The way we can control our school taxes is by controlling the number of new housing development that gets built, and that's the whole plan. We are currently in a lawsuit about the fourth round of affordable housing, and we will continue to make sure that we don't overdevelop West Windsor and help the current residents to stay in West Windsor.
Many of our neighbors in our area have also kept municipal taxes flat in recent years. The county this year will be decreasing their tax rate by 6%. One of these towns near us is Robbinsville, was recently had their school districts improve rapidly, have developed a fledgling downtown, and according to their mayor, are beginning to have homes with positive residential rateables, even with school-going children. What, if anything, can West Windsor learn from the fiscal and development strategies of our neighboring towns? 1 minute, 30 seconds.
It's very, it's very interesting you mentioned Robbinsville has kept taxes flat. You know why Robbinsville have kept taxes flat? That's because of the Amazon warehouse they attracted 8, 10 years ago. And no residents in Robbinsville resisted that or threw monkey wrench in that or send rumors. How many trucks do travel through Robbinsville because of the large Amazon warehouse? So that's a perfect question to illustrate the difference between my opponent and me. Robbinsville has kept taxes flat. We have kept taxes flat without the warehouses. If we do get warehouses that on Bridgepoint 8, your school taxes should remain flat too. And the county taxes over the 8 year period have increased significantly. They may have decreased temporarily 1 year, but you compare the performance of the county taxes and the performance of the municipal taxes. Municipal taxes have increased by 2.7% over 8 years. The county taxes have increased by roughly 16%, I believe, over the 8 year same period. So again, that question, I wasn't expecting that question, but that question perfectly illustrates what we have been trying to do and how we are as successful as Robbinsville or be more successful than Robbinsville.
As West Windsor has grown rapidly in recent years, residents frequently talk about the conditions of our roads and traffic congestion. What is your plan to systematically improve our roads and alleviate traffic hotspots? 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Okay. Again, this is again the question that comes down to same between people are tired of traffic, but if you build more housing, traffic will come. There's no option for that, and people need to realize that if we don't have the land occupied, we'll have to build more housing under the affordable housing lawsuit. Because so one of the main things of controlling traffic is controlling new developments that come into West Windsor. The state originally asked us to build 661 homes. We have narrowed it down to 480, and we are now fighting with the state that our number should really be 236. So that the best thing I can do is to make sure that the number of new homes built in West Windsor is much smaller than what the state or the builders want me to build. Regarding roads, we have been dedicating over $2 million every year to fix roads. As I said, West Windsor grew very rapidly about 30, 35 years ago, and those roads are now reaching a point where they need to be resurfaced. So every 2 years, we hire a company to drive on every West Windsor road and rank them from 1 to 5, 1 being worst, 5 being best. And we start fixing the roads that are in worst condition based on an objective analysis of what the condition of the road is, and we will continue to do that. Over the next 3, 4 years, we may increase allocation to sidewalk improvement, road improvement, simply because people want us to focus on those areas rather than something else.
Another topic that comes up often is safety. There's a growing desire to make our town more walkable and bikeable, with organizations like the WWBPA leading the charge. How would you create a more connected and safer network for pedestrians and cyclists, and would you increase funding/efficiency for these projects? 2 minutes.
Again, if you talk to bicyclists, they will tell you West Windsor is one of the friendliest places to bicycle compared to other towns in town. We have built and increased our sidewalks and bicycle paths much more in last 8 years. As I said, every time we redo a road or resurface a road, one of the questions we ask ourselves is, can we make it more safer than before, both for bicyclists and pedestrians? An ideal example is Alexander Road between 571 and the station. We have put a blinking light practically at every intersection except for one. On that, we just reduced the speed limit for one small portion of the road which had 30, so it's 25 miles per hour. We always evaluate speed limits. We always evaluate where we can provide bike lanes and sidewalks. Under my mayorship, we completed first 2 phases of the Cranberry Road sidewalk. We are working on the third phase, which will connect the sidewalk all the way from Walgreens on 571 up to the Dinky line, Dinky Trail on Rabbit Hill Road. So essentially, you can walk from 571 on that sidewalk, on the Dinky Trail, all the way up to the rowing center by Mercer County Park. So we have steadily made more improvements along the sidewalks. We have made improvements along the bike paths, and we will continue to do that. We work in close conjunction with the Westminster Bicycle and Pedestrian Alliance, and I always talk to them and get their input on what they prefer to be done. Now, of course, I can't do everything that everybody wants, and in many instances, there's a difference of opinion between different people. In that case, I'm tasked with choosing the option that works best for that, and I'm not afraid of making that decision.
What is your assessment of our current public safety services, our police, fire, and EMS? And do they have the resources they need to keep our community safe?
Yeah. Uh, our police are excellent. Everybody gives them the highest grade. One of the most often complaint I get is the police are too nice. They don't write too many tickets. Regarding the fire and EMS, we are continue to improve. Now, for the first time, we have uh, a dedicated ambulance service for 7 days a week for 12 hours. My aim is to eventually have a dedicated ambulance service which is separate from fire engine 724 throughout the year, and I hope to at least make a significant progress towards that goal in this term.
Transparency gets thrown around a lot, particularly recently in West Windsor. Could you provide two specific concrete examples of things you would do to make our local government's operations more transparent and accessible to the average resident? 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Again, that's a wonderful question that you asked me. And last time I ran for mayor, I was ridiculed by my opponent as being a Facebook mayor, which means I was too accessible and answering questions to the Facebook. And I will challenge anybody who feels we are non transparent to show me one mayor in Mercer County who is as accessible and to people, and who is as responsive to people in either Facebook, on email, or on by phone as I am. So many people have my cell phone number and they call. Just as an ideal example, some Girl Scouts had a problem in Plainsboro yesterday. They had scheduled a function and the park was closed. They called me even for an issue in Plainsboro, and I reached out to Plainsboro mayor and resolved that issue. So again, this transparency thing is every 4 years election year tactics, but I will challenge anybody else to show me another government in Mercer County or the state who is as transparent and as reachable and as responsive as West Windsor government. Absolutely, not only me, but majority of the council members are also very responsive to people's concerns, and they are always reachable to people's concern.
To that end, would you support implementing a 311 style system or app for resident service requests such as potholes or broken township equipment to improve communication and efficiency? 30 seconds.
Again, this question is unessential because there's already a link on the website to fix potholes, and so many people have already told me that when they reported the pothole, it was fixed within 24 hours. Same, we have a specific link to report your missed garbage pickup. If you report it on the same day, your garbage gets picked up the next year. So these services already exist. All you need to know is know how it is, and don't believe everything you hear during a campaign season. As I said, judge us based on our record, not what somebody says during 4 weeks of campaign season.
Residents, particularly young residents, are concerned about climate change and are wondering what our town can do to preserve open space and protect our environment. What is your vision for balancing the preservation of our beautiful open spaces with the enhancement of our parks and the promotion of environmental sustainability?
Okay. Again, what we need to do as a township is important, but what we need to do as a resident is important too. Regarding open space, every time there's an open space that's on our list of desired property becomes available, we go and very aggressively purchase it. And my record on that is stellar. Just as an example, the Hall Farm along Village Road at the border of Robbinsville, a builder was proposing to build 440 townhomes. We went to court, we condemned the farm, and we purchased the farm. There's numerous examples where property became available and we simply purchased it or we locked it up. On a personal level, I drive an electric car, I have solar panels, and I do everything within my power to make sure that my consumption is lower. But every person needs to play a role. Don't order so much from Amazon. I mean, it's one end you claim you are for environmental protection, and three Amazon deliveries come to your house in 1 week. There's a disconnect, and you can't do that. I mean, everybody has to do their part, and the township continues to do their part. Under my leadership, there's so many solar panels being installed in town, not only by private industries, but there's so many chargers, electric chargers too. And we're trying to get a Tesla supercharger at the new parking lot being built near the train station.
What kind of development would you like to see in West Windsor? Which types of houses, restaurants, and businesses should residents expect to see, and how will you attract that type of development? 3 minutes.
3 minutes? Okay. Ideally, if it was up to me, I wouldn't like to see any other house being built in West Windsor, simply because we have grown a lot and we don't have the road or infrastructure to support it. But as I explained earlier, that's not a choice that I have, because the it's very easy to sell house in West Windsor, so the builders wanted to build, and builders have more power in Trenton than a mayor or an individual resident. So we are forced to build houses in West Windsor. So that's one of the reasons why um, the housing is getting built. But if it was up to me, not a single new house will be built in West Windsor. So only individual houses, no large communities will be built. Regarding small businesses, we continue to attract small businesses. I'm very proud of our record in small businesses. Even during COVID, we were very supportive of small businesses. We did promote them, we did encourage people to support small businesses, and I'm very proud to say that very few businesses closed in West Windsor during COVID. If you go around town and look at strip malls, you will see most of them have very good occupancy rate. Most of their lots are closed. Just 2 days ago, I was talking to somebody. I pointed out that the new mall, that our new mixed use development that opened on 571 across from PNC next to Walgreen, most of those lots are taken by small businesses. I was there for ribbon cutting for a dance studio. I noticed there's a fencing, there's a orthodontist, there's other small businesses in down there, and we will continue to do that. And it's an attractive place for small businesses to move because of the community we have. And I will continue to promote small businesses in every way, every possible way I can.
Many residents share a vision for a more vibrant town center, Main Street for West Windsor. Most see our downtown as South 71, around the train station area, but are hoping to see further development of that area as walkable with diverse local options. Do you believe this is a feasible goal, and if so, what is your plan to make it a reality? 2 minutes.
Oh, that is not only it's a feasible goal, but it will be achieved within next 4 years. As you know, the town center development was approved by 2000, in 2007 by previous Mayor Shea. When I became mayor, then it didn't happen because of the financial meltdown that happened in 2008. When I became mayor, it became more feasible, and the developer came to us. What we did was we worked with the developer to make it far more friendlier to West Windsor. Unfortunately, the original plan didn't go through because COVID happened. So we had to once again go back to the developer and work with him to change it. We did change it to favor West Windsor residents. We increased the ratio of affordable units from 12.5 to 16.5. That gave us additional 32 affordable units, which meant we had to build about 100 less houses in West Windsor compared to what we did before. But the entire area between the train station and High School South will become walkable. We are working with the county to redo 571 between Clarksville Road and Cranberry Road. It will become a 3-lane road with 1 lane on either side and a turning lane in the middle, with sidewalks and bike lanes on both sides. So that entire area between the train station and High School South will become a real downtown, a walkable area, and I do hope to achieve that within the next 4 years. The first portion of the 571 between Cranberry and Alexander should be done next year. It was supposed to be done this year, it got postponed. It should be done next year, and then the following year, the road between Alexander Road and Clarksville. So it will definitely happen within the next 4 years.
Our library is a vital resource run by the county. However, many feel our library space isn't modern, large, or centrally located enough to support our students and our community. Do you have a vision for improving our local branch, perhaps by collaborating with the county or exploring a township-run model like Plainsboro's successful library/community center? 1 minute.
Okay. Again, I mean, my opponent has criticized me for a library without realizing that the library is not controlled by the township but by the county. We belong to a county library system. If you look at your tax bill, you pay property tax for library tax to the county. The county is responsible. Plainsboro is different because Plainsboro has their own library. A number of people have suggested that we pull out of the county system and build our own library using the two cent tax that we pay to the county. So we continue to work with the county to make it better. The county is fixing the roof and some other areas in the library right now, and we will continue to work with the county to make it better. However, my opponent criticizes me without realizing that it's the people who are supporting him are in control of the library, and if that's the way they do the library, that's the way my opponent will do the other parts of town as well.
We know that West Windsor doesn't exist in a bubble. Our biggest challenges often cross town lines. Describe your approach to working with leaders in neighboring towns and at the county and state level to find regional solutions. 1 minute.
Okay. My relationship with fellow mayors in Mercer County is excellent. We do meet occasionally, every month or 2 months, to discuss our joint problems. And I continue to talk with them. An ideal example is during COVID, Hamilton, Princeton, and West Windsor, they have their own health officers, and the county was and the state was forcing us to use the county system to vaccinate people, and three of us got together and pushed back at the state and insisted that we have our own health officers and we will do a much better job than the state can do through the county system. And we have developed that close relationship has continued since then, and that's a proof that we can work both with the not only the county but also the state as on as needed basis. And I'm an easy person to get along with, and my philosophy is to talk to everybody. We may not agree on every issue, but work with people on issues that you agree with and let go of the issues you don't agree with.
In the spirit of a healthy debate and to clarify the choices for voters, if you could ask your opponent one question, what would it be? 30 seconds.
I would have loved to have that debate so we could answer the same questions on the same podium at the same time. Unfortunately, he declined. He wanted to hide me in a room while he was answering questions. So, one question I would ask is why didn't he have a debate face to face when people can compare? Because election is about choices. It's they may not agree with me 100%. Any voter may not agree with me 100%, but they have to make a choice between the two candidates that are on the ticket, and that's the question I would have asked him.
To end on a personal note, what is your single favorite thing about West Windsor?
West Windsor is how many? Okay. West Windsor is home to me. As I've always said, people will always call me Indian, but I've spent the most time on earth I've spent is in the house that we currently occupy. We raised four kids in that house for 31 years. So West Windsor is, for all practical purposes, West Windsor is home to me, and it will always be home to me. It's unlikely that I will stay at another place for longer than 31 years given my age. I would love to, but unlikely. So I would always have a special place for West Windsor in my heart.
What is your favorite restaurant in West Windsor?
As a mayor, I shouldn't choose one or the other, but one of the advantages of um, COVID had a lot of downsides, but um, the upside was that in order to support all small businesses, I ate and supported every restaurant in town. So I know of every restaurant in town, and I eat a lot of them with my wife and kids. So I would encourage everybody to support local businesses, buy as much as you can from local businesses, even if it's a little bit more expensive than what you can get on Amazon. And that way we make our town stronger.
And finally, what does a perfect weekend spent entirely in West Windsor look like to you?
Uh, uh, if you ask that question to me and my wife, our definition is would be different. But my perfect weekend is to spend time with family and friends in West Windsor, attend community events where all community comes together. We are a growing town. We are now over 34,000 people. So it's very important to keep that sense of community, know your neighbors, know your friends, parents, and a perfect weekend would be spending time in town with my friends and family and getting to know neighbors and doing something that will uplift the community and develop a sense of community among us.
That concludes our interview. Thank you very much, Mr. Marathe, for your time. And if anyone watching wants additional resources, you can visit westwindsorforward.org.
Thank you very much again. I appreciate your persistence in making this happen. When the debate didn't happen, I told you that I'll be happy to sit down with you or anybody else and answer questions. So I really appreciate your persistence in making this happen. And thank you very much for giving me that opportunity.